North American energy just turned into a worthless piece of paper. If you are watching this, you are witnessing the moment the United States stopped being the energy superpower it thought it was. You are witnessing the moment Donald Trump realized that you cannot bully the person who holds the keys to your thermostat. And you are witnessing Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, do something that no world leader has dared to do in 4 years. He didn't just say no, he didn't just negotiate, he pulled the plug. As of right now, the $865 billion North American Energy Security Pact is dead, collapsed, erased. Donald Trump gave Canada an ultimatum at midnight. He thought he had the leverage. He thought he could force Ottawa to sell its oil and hydropower at a discount, or face a total border blockade. He thought it was a masterstroke of the art of the deal, but he forgot one thing. He forgot that when you threaten the man who controls the tap, he doesn't have to argue with you, he just turns the tap off. Carney didn't blink. He didn't call for a summit. He simply let the deadline pass. And then he issued a notification to the markets that Canada is officially decoupling its energy strategy from the United States, effective immediately. This is not a drill. This is not political theatre. This is an economic heart attack. The markets are already reacting. Look at the tickers on your screen. Energy futures are spiking. The Canadian dollar is surging, and the Dow Jones is confused, terrified, and dropping, because Wall Street knows what the White House refuses to admit. They know that without Canadian heavy crude, the refineries in Texas stop running. They know that without Canadian hydropower, the lights in New York and New England start to flicker. Trump gambled with your heating bill. He gambled with your gas price, and he lost. In the next hour, I'm going to walk you through exactly how this deal fell apart, why Trump's maximum pressure strategy just blew up in his face, and exactly how much this mistake is going to cost you personally when you fill up your car next week. But first, you have to understand the silence. Usually, when a deal this big collapses, there is noise, there are press conferences, there are frantic spokespeople trying to spin the narrative. But right now, silence from the West Wing. Why? Because they are in shock. They genuinely didn't think Carney would do it. They have spent so long surrounded by yes-men, by sycophants, by people who are terrified of a mean tweet that they forgot what a real leader looks like. They forgot that a man like Mark Carney, a man who ran the Bank of England, a man who steered the global economy through crisis, doesn't operate on emotion. He operates on math, and the math told him that Canada doesn't need to be bullied by a declining superpower anymore. Let's go back to the ultimatum, because this is the smoking gun. This is the moment Trump overplayed his hand. 12 hours ago, leaked documents show that the Trump administration sent a demand to Ottawa. They wanted a preferred pricing mechanism. That's fancy talk for a discount. They wanted Canada to guarantee oil shipments to the US at 20% below the global market rate. And if Canada refused, Trump threatened to slap a 100% tariff on Canadian electric vehicles and aluminum. It was extortion, pure and simple. It was the tactics of a mob boss, not a president. Trump thought Canada was desperate. He listened to his advisors who told him, Canada has nowhere else to go. They are landlocked by us. They have to sell to us. That was true 20 years ago. It is not true today. And that is where Mark Carney just outsmarted the entire Trump team. While Trump was busy posting on social media, Carney was busy building pipelines to the coast. He was busy signing deals with Japan. He was signing deals with Germany. He was signing deals with the expanding economies of India. So when the ultimatum landed on his desk last night, he didn't panic. He didn't call a cabinet meeting to wring his hands. He looked at the global spot price of oil. He looked at the demand coming from Europe. And he realized that Canada has options. The United States is not the only customer in the store anymore, so he let the clock run out. And now let's look at the receipts. Let's look at what is actually happening on the ground right now while the White House tries to figure out a spin. Receipt number 1, the tankers. Satellite data shows that 3 supertankers off the coast of British Columbia, which were scheduled to head south toward California refineries, have just changed course. They are turning west. They are heading to Asia. That is millions of barrels of crude oil that were supposed to become American. Gasoline now heading to fuel the factories of our competitors. Why? Because they pay full price and they don't threaten the supplier. Receipt number 2, the grid. The northeastern United States relies heavily on hydropower from Quebec. It's clean, it's reliable, and it's cheap. Trump's ultimatum included a threat to tax this electricity if Canada didn't comply with the oil demands. Well, Hydro-Quebec just issued a statement. It's a very polite, very Canadian statement. It says they are reviewing transmission allocations due to market volatility. Translation: New York, get your generators ready. If you want the power, you're going to have to pay the premium right now. The friendship discount is over. Receipt number 3, the Keystone narrative. Trump has been screaming about pipelines for years. He says, drill, baby, drill, but he doesn't understand the chemistry. The US refineries in the Gulf Coast are built to process heavy, sour crude. They need Canadian oil to function efficiently. They can't just switch to the light, sweet crude from Texas overnight. It's a different chemical process. By cutting the deal, Carney effectively starves these refineries. They will have to run at lower capacity. That means less gas. That means higher prices. That means shortages. This isn't just a political dispute. This is a supply chain catastrophe. And it was entirely avoidable. It was avoidable if Trump had treated Canada like a partner instead of a colony. But he can't do that. His psychology won't let him. He needs a winner and a loser. He needs to dominate. And today he met a man who refuses to be dominated. You have to appreciate the contrast in character here. It's almost cinematic. On one side, you have Donald Trump, chaos, noise, threats. A man who governs by impulse, who changes his mind based on what he sees on cable news, who thinks that shouting the loudest makes you right. On the other side, you have Mark Carney, cool, detached, precise, a man who speaks in complete paragraphs, a man who understands the intricate plumbing of the global financial system. Trump brought a sledgehammer to fix a watch. Carney just quietly removed the battery. And now the watch has stopped. Think about what this means for the global stage. The whole world is watching this. Putin is watching. Xi Jinping is watching. The European Union is watching. They are seeing that the United States is so dysfunctional, so addicted to conflict, that it just blew up its most important economic relationship. They are seeing that America is no longer a safe harbor. It's a risk. If Trump treats his closest ally like this, his neighbor, his brother in arms, how will he treat everyone else? Carney just sent a signal to every other nation on Earth. You don't have to take it. He showed them that if you have something America needs, you have the power. You don't have to bow down. You can just walk away. And Canada is walking away, not from the American people. We know the affection between our populations is real, but from the American government, from the Trump administration, this $865 billion deal was supposed to be the North American fortress. It was supposed to make us independent of the Middle East. It was supposed to guarantee low prices for 50 years. Now it's ash. And why? Because Trump wanted a win for the cameras. He wanted to hold up a piece of paper and say, I beat Canada. Instead, he has to explain why gas is going to hit $5 a gallon in Ohio. He has to explain why heating oil in New Hampshire is going to double this winter. He has to explain why he broke the machine. Let's dig deeper into the why. Why did Carney choose this specific moment? Why not wait? Why not negotiate? Because the timeline matters. We are approaching the midterm elections. Trump is vulnerable. His approval ratings are shaky on the economy. He needs a win. He needs to show that he's bringing costs down. Carney knows this. He knows that Trump is desperate. And in negotiation, desperation is a weakness. By collapsing the deal now, Carney is denying Trump the economic stability he needs to survive politically. It's a ruthless move. It's a move that says we aren't going to help you get re-elected by letting you rob us. It's the kind of move you only make if you are supremely confident in your own position. And Canada is confident. They have the resources. The world is thirsty for energy. The transition to green energy is happening. But oil and gas are still the lifeblood of the economy for the next decade. Canada has it. The world wants it. Trump thought he was the gatekeeper. He thought he could charge a toll. Carney just reminded him that Canada can build its own gates. I want you to imagine the scene in the Oval Office right now. The shouting, the blame game. Trump is likely yelling at his trade representative, asking how this happened, asking why Canada didn't fold. They probably don't have an answer for him because they don't understand that not everyone operates on fear. You can't scare Mark Carney. You can't intimidate a central banker. These are people who stare down market crashes for a living. A tweet from Mar-a-Lago doesn't raise their heart rate, and that is Trump's kryptonite indifference. Carney isn't angry at Trump. He's just correcting a market inefficiency. And the inefficiency is Donald Trump's ego. So what happens to you? What happens to the regular person watching this who just wants to drive to work and heat their home? It's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. In the short term, speculation is going to drive prices up. The uncertainty alone adds a premium to every barrel of oil. You will see it at the pump within days. But the long-term impact is even scarier. If this deal stays dead, and it looks like it will, it means the North American energy market is fractured. It means the US has to buy more oil from unstable regions. It means we are back to being dependent on dictators in the Middle East or Venezuela. It means the energy independence we bragged about was a myth because it relied on Canada being a silent, compliant partner. Now that the partner is gone, the independence is gone. We are entering a new era of scarcity, an era where resources are used as shields, not just commodities. Carney calls it sovereign resource architecture. That's the academic term. The real term is my oil, my rules, and Trump hates it. He hates it because he can't put his name on it. He can't brand it. He can't control it. We are watching a real-time shift in the balance of power. For a century, the US was the sun and Canada was a planet orbiting around it. Today, the planet broke orbit and the sun is looking a little less bright. Let's talk about the specific clause that broke the deal. It's deep in the paperwork. Page 400, the sovereignty snapback. Carr's team inserted this months ago. It basically says that if the US imposes arbitrary or punitive trade measures, Canada has the right to suspend all energy pricing guarantees immediately. Trump's team didn't read it, or they didn't think he'd use it. But when Trump threatened those EV tariffs last night, that was the trigger. Snap. The deal dissolved. It was a trap, a legal bureaucratic trap. And Trump walked right into it with his eyes wide open, blinded by his own arrogance. Carney knew Trump couldn't help himself. He knew Trump would eventually try to bully Canada. So he built a self-destruct button into the deal, handed the remote to Trump, and waited for him to press it. And he pressed it. Now let's look at the reaction from the rest of Canada. You might think Canadians are worried. You might think they are scared of losing the American market. But look at the polls. Look at the comments online. They are cheering. For years, Canadians have felt taken for granted. They have watched US presidents use them as a punching bag for domestic points. They are tired of it. Carney is tapping into a deep vein of national pride. He's saying, we are not the 51st state. We are a G7 nation. We are a powerhouse, and we will act like one. This strengthens Carney at home. It makes him look like a protector, a guardian. Meanwhile, it makes Trump look weak. It makes him look like a man who can't close. A man who promised so much winning that you'd get tired of it. Well, are you tired of losing yet? Because losing the Canadian energy deal is a loss of historic proportions. It's a loss of security. It's a loss of stability. It's a loss of money. And let's be clear, this was not inevitable. This was a choice. It was a choice to prioritize America First rhetoric over a North American reality. The reality is that the US and Canada are like conjoined twins. You can't hurt one without hurting the other. Trump tried to punch Canada in the face, and he ended up giving himself a black eye. What comes next? We are going to see a scramble. The White House will try to backtrack. They might even try to say they never made the ultimatum. They will gaslight you. They will say the deal is still under negotiation. Don't believe it. The deal is dead. Canada has already reallocated the futures contracts. The oil is gone. Trump might try to sue. He might try to take it to the USMCA dispute panel. But that takes years. The oil tankers move in days. He might try to escalate. He might threaten to close the border to Canadian tourists or snowbirds. But if he does that, he destroys the economies of Florida and Arizona. He shoots his own voters in the foot. He is checkmated. There is no good move for Donald Trump here. Every option leads to more pain for the US economy. And Mark Carney knows it. That's why he's silent. He doesn't need to say anything. The scoreboard says it all. Carney 8 and 65 billion retained assets. Trump 0. It's a shutout. I want you to think about the long-term implications for the green transition too. Carney is a huge proponent of green finance. He wants to move the world away from carbon by cutting off the cheap flow of oil to the US. He is actually accelerating that transition. He is forcing the US to face the true cost of fossil fuels. In a way, he is imposing a carbon tax on Donald Trump without ever passing a law in Congress. It's brilliant, it's devious, and it's effective. Trump hates green energy. He wants coal, he wants oil. But now, because of his own actions, those things are becoming luxury goods. Carney is using the market to force the change that politics couldn't achieve. This is 4D chess, and Trump is playing checkers with pigeon pieces. He knocks them over and struts around like he won. While the board is being packed up and taken away, let's talk about the middle-class impact again, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Manufacturing, plastics, agriculture, all of these industries rely on petrochemicals. If the feedstock from Canada stops or gets more expensive, the price of fertilizer goes up. That means the price of corn goes up. That means the price of beef goes up. The price of plastic packaging goes up. That means everything in the grocery store gets a markup. Inflation was finally cooling down. Trump just poured gasoline on the embers, and he will blame everyone else. He will blame Carney. He will blame the deep state. He will blame the media. But you know the truth. You saw the ultimatum. You saw the deadline. This is on him. This is what happens when you elect a wrecking ball to build a house. Eventually, the house collapses. We are standing in the rubble of the USC-Canada relationship. It can be rebuilt, maybe, but not while this administration is in charge. Carney has made it clear Canada is open for business, but it is closed for bullying. The door is shut. And until there is a grown-up in the White House who understands how to knock politely, it's going to stay shut. The energy shield is gone. We are exposed to the elements now. So get your blankets ready. Get your wallets ready. It's going to be a cold, expensive winter. And as you watch the gas prices tick up tomorrow morning, remember this moment. Remember the ultimatum. Remember the arrogance. And remember the man who said no, said Mark Carney, didn't just save Canadian resources today. He exposed the hollowness of the Trump doctrine. He showed that America first eventually means America alone. And being alone in a cold world is a dangerous place to be. We will keep tracking the tankers. We will keep monitoring the grid. We will bring you the updates that the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. But for now, the headline is simple, and it is devastating. The deal is dead, the money is gone, and the president has no clothes. Welcome to the new reality. Make sure you subscribe because this story is moving fast and the fallout is just beginning. You need to know what happens when the lights flicker. You need to know who to blame. We'll be here watching the collapse.